Welcome back to part 3 of this series of me playing a drinking game and then reviewing a book while I'm drunk. For this video, I will be watching episode 3 of Shadow and Bone on Netflix and then reviewing Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo at the end when I'm a little bit tipsy. In full transparency, I have already been drinking a little bit today. The drinking game rules are in the description and in my very first part 1 video in this series if you want to play along. So let's get started. I kind of want them to kiss. Do I have to take a shot? I can't even drink because Zoya's not being a bitch, she's just being a badass. But I do kind of want them to kiss.
Your tracker friend also liked it when I put him on his back.
Okay, she was being a bitch though. Yes, Alina. Zoya being a bitch again, you're not supposed to use your powers. Who else loves Bagra? Pour one out for my girl. That was episode 3, so I'm gonna go grab Ruin and Rising and we're gonna talk about it. At the beginning of this video, I told you I had already been drinking today. So by the end of this video, I am drunk. I wanted people to kiss several times, probably because I was already a little tipsy. Then, you know, Zoya was a bitch several times. Jesper decided to twirl his guns like a million times in the fold. So I am quite drunk at this point. But I will try to remember what happens in this book. So we enter book 3, Ruin and Rising, and the apparat is like basically controlling her. He like won't let her leave. She like has to stay in the dark all the time. She like doesn't have any power. It's like kind of weird. She can't like find the light because she's underground with the apparat's like secret network, right? So she's like very weak from not using her power, and then the apparat is also just like using her as a symbol. So that's where we start. And then she and Jenya devise a plan. She doesn't really know that everyone else is in on it, but everyone else is in on it. Alina and Jenya devise a plan to like get near the hearth, the fireplace, to get the sun from outside, like through the chimney. So Alina gets the power of the sun that way, and like everyone else distracts. Like they have like a fake plot against the apparat or whatever, so that Alina can get this power from the sun. She gets power from this light power from the outside, from the upper world, and they get away from the apparat. She doesn't, it's like on and off with Toya and Tamar. She doesn't know if she can trust them, if they're like more religious and like want her to be a saint, or like if they actually care about her as a person, because she's a person, she's not a saint, right? But ultimately they help her escape the apparat. So they're above ground. From reading the lives of saints, like that's what Alina was doing all this time underground, she realizes there's probably a third amplifier. So there's a third amplifier for the third book. How convenient. So she decides to go after it. In the second book, she's like, because this will give me power to defeat the Darkling. That's like half and half. The reason she goes for the amplifier, the other half that she doesn't want to admit is like, because it will make me powerful and I love power, right? That's the second book. In this third book, she's like, I'm not even gonna try to deny it anymore. I love this power, I need it in my life, so I'm gonna go after this third amplifier even if it kills me and everyone around me. Basically, she's power hungry. And the third amplifier happens to be a firebird. She like has nothing to go on, like it's a bird, how do you track that? There's like barely any clues in the Lives of Saint books. And so she's like, but Mal, you're the best tracker the world has ever seen, so if anyone can find it, you can find it. And he's like, but if I find it, then we won't be together, you'll be a saint, like you'll probably die, you'll have to destroy the Darkling. Do I really want to find this firebird? And ultimately he's like, fine, I'll do it for you because you're the best thing in the world and I will do anything for you. So Mal starts tracking the firebird. They're above ground with all their homies. Jenya, Toya, Tamar, this like super young kid. Somebody's little brother joins the crew. Anyways, they're above ground. They're searching the firebird. They have to again Again, in this book, they like spend weeks, months, days trying to find this firebird. So another kind of boring part of this book is like the first book, they spend a lot of time traveling, camping, just like outdoors. Not that fun, not that exciting. But then they find the firebird. They have tracked the firebird as far as Mal can track it. The rest of the team is like camping somewhere. Alina goes just like wandering off, as a main character does, and suddenly the firebird comes out of the waterfall and starts attacking Alina. Alina sees all these bones at the end of the waterfall and is like, oh my god, this is where all the bones come from. The firebird is hunting me. I thought I was tracking it, but the firebird is hunting me. She like accepts death and everything. And then of course Mal comes to the rescue and is like, no, you ain't getting my girl. So the firebird doesn't get Alina, but in rescuing Alina, Mal like touches Alina or something, and like they both realize that Mal is actually an amplifier. They realize, uh-oh, this has like been going on for a while and we just didn't know it because we thought it was love, we thought we were soulmates, but actually it was because Mal was like a descendant of Morozova and Alina was like drawn to the power of his blood. At this point, Mal and I both realized that if he's the third amplifier, that means Alina has to kill him and like wear his bones or like drink his blood or like something fucking gross like that. And we both lost our minds. For me, that looked like screaming and fucking crying my eyes out, like literally throwing the book across the room and yelling. For Mal, it was like going to fights and beating himself up. When he found out, he was like, you're really gonna choose this power over me? They didn't tell the team, but somehow they were like, okay team, we're not gonna find this firebird, let's just go home. So they start heading back. Mal and Alina are like not talking to each other because Mal is like, she's gonna fucking kill me for this power instead of fucking me. But then eventually Mal comes around and he's like, I would rather die than see you unhappy. I would rather die than see you unfulfilled. So Alina's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll fucking kill you and take your bones. You're the love of my life. You're my best friend since childhood, but I'm gonna kill you and wear your bones around my wrist. That feels empty this whole book. The whole book, my wrist feels empty. So I'm gonna kill you and wear your bones around my wrist so that I can have a lot of power, defeat the Darkling, and then just be like this powerful being the rest of my life. My eternal life that doesn't include you because I killed you to have this power. So Alina's a bitch. She like barely has a second thought of killing her best friend. Her second thought comes when she's coming. No, I'm serious. Okay, there's like one PG-13 sex scene where they're like making out and then they lay down on the ground in the greenhouse and then the scene changes and it's morning and Alina's like, that was so nice, but I'm still gonna kill you. I just opened to their sex scene, which is not really a sex scene, it's a PG-13 sex scene. You're all I've ever wanted, he said. You are the whole of my heart. She was feeling insecure about her body and he was like, stop. You're all I've ever wanted. You are the whole of my heart. Stop! He clasped his hand to my wrist and my mind filled with light. It was all we needed. It was all we would ever have. First of all, they have like a magical connection, so like must be nice to see light when someone touches you, but also then it goes, the next morning he had already woken up. Okay, PG-13. Anyways, they go to battle the Darkling. Alina wins by using Mal's power. She literally kills him. She stabs him in the heart with a knife, literally screaming, what the fuck? But then, because she did that, because she had all the power of like the three amplifiers, so the stag, the sea serpent, and then Mal, she had the power to like give light summoning to like literally everyone around her. So she does to defeat all the Darkling's shadow soldiers and the Darkling himself. And in doing so, she loses her power and Mal comes back to life. In the end, Alina pretends she has died in this final battle and like lives another life as Mal's wife. Like they literally get married in secret, no one knows she's the sun summoner, and they live happily ever after. I'm okay with it. Because killing Mal was the fucking worst thing I could imagine. So I'm okay with that ending. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending, but I like it. And if you don't like it, you're a hater who doesn't like happy endings. So they go off and live in secret. No one knows they're really alive except like Zoya comes and visits occasionally, and like some other people. They make the orphanage better, and like they're just the cutest like couple who ever lived. And they live happily ever after, and that's the end. And they deserve it. I'm gonna read you some quotes from the book that I wrote down because they made me happy. If you know me, they're probably Alina quotes. How did I skip this part in my review? Here's the quote. So David is saying this to Jenya. Jenya is like, you only like me because I'm damaged and you see something to fix because you're a fabricator, right? She's like very insecure about that. And David says, I don't get jokes or sunsets or poetry, but I know metal. Beauty was your armor. Fragile stuff, all show. But what's inside you? That's steel. It's brave and unbreakable. And it doesn't need fixing. If you watch this show, you got a little bit of David and Jenya. Jenya's like, oh, that's ingenious. Right, you see that a little bit. And then you see David like looking at Jenya during the light show. Like they can only look at each other during like Alina's big moment. It's so cute, right? And you can't wait to see what happens next. Well, guess what happens next, bitch? They fall in love. Jenya gets fucking mauled by the shadow soldiers, and then David finally notices her, and she's like, but you only noticed me because I was broken and like ugly and you want to fix me. And David's like, no bitch, I have loved you since I saw you, but like you were just pretending behind this facade of beauty, and I wanted to get to know the real you, and like now the real you is like showing through, and like I love that and I connect with that. And also in the third book they have sex. Alina walks into the room and David and Jenya are in the bunk bed and like, what's going on? And Alina's like, y'all are in the bunk bed together? They're so cute. And Zoya's like, everyone's pairing up now. Me too, bitch. But anyways, the other quote I wrote was, Mal said it to Alina. Alina was like, why would you get a tattoo that says, I am become a blade? Like, tattoos are so not it. And Mal is like, it's a vow that if I can't be anything else to you, at least I can be a weapon in your hand. He's like, you don't want me romantically, sexually. You have pushed me away a million times, but if I can't be anything else to you, I will be a weapon to defeat your enemies, to destroy anything that comes against you. And people don't ship Malina? How? How? Tell me how. This quote is from Alina is thinking about Mal. They like try kissing, they try making out, and like decide it's not for the best. Mal should not be her personal guard anymore, that he should like go somewhere else. When he leaves, she says, something good has gone. It's so simple. And the last quote I'm gonna read for you that I wrote down because it resonated with me. They had an ordinary life full of ordinary things, if love can ever be called that. I see a lot of people not liking the happy ending that like Mal lived and they ended up together. Y'all are freaking haters. You must hate yourself if you don't love that someone who like had this huge burden of being a savior of the world, and then she got to be ordinary. She saved her people from the Darkling. She unified Ravka again. She did what she like had to do, but she still got to be ordinary. She still got an ordinary life and ordinary love. If love can ever be called ordinary. She and Mal have gone through so much, individually and together, that they deserve their happy ending. So, happily ever after, the end.